After, of course, I skilled in towards my long position yesterday, I am already in a profit of about $55,000. And honestly, the direction where Bitcoin is heading towards right now has never been more clear than it currently is here. So in today's update video, of course, I'm going to be talking about the most important levels, the most important charts, and of course, my bull market targets for this cycle, because I remain to be believing we are so freaking close towards the top for Bitcoin, but we are in that final stage where the biggest gains are made here. And honestly, Ethereum really looks like it is going to be outperforming Bitcoin in a very significant manner. So I will give a big update on my still current ongoing Ethereum trades, altcoin trades, and much more on today's update video. So don't forget to once again snap up that like button back above 1,000 likes. That will be highly appreciated. And let me jump straight away in towards today's update video. So first of all, yesterday, of course, we discussed this insane inverse head and shoulders pattern, and you can see that, of course, ever since Bitcoin retested the upward sloping neckline, we have seen a slight little bounce for Bitcoin from this level. And of course, I have opened up very big long positions on Bitcoin and even have more orders laying below us, but already the Bitcoin trade is in about $55,000 in profit. And I straight away want to be saying it, guys, because tomorrow it's going to be ending, but currently you can still claim a free $1,000 airdrop position on Ethereum by signing up an account using that first link in today's video description. And if you've done so, the only thing next is, of course, to download the application, log in, and then you will get that free $1,000. And if you still don't understand how to exactly claim it, I did make a dedicated video on how you can claim this insane deposit bonus, so make sure to do so and check that video out right now. But I need to talk about what is about to be happening, because Ethereum is about to do something heavy, and of course I will talk about that later in this video. But first of all, I want to be talking about what is going to be happening today with Bitcoin. First of all, we're going to be having this insane jobless claim that is going to be dropping today. Of course, this will cause major volatility if it is going to be anywhere out of the expectation. So make sure to keep paying attention towards this. Of course, if you do follow me on Twitter, you will be the first one to know whenever this news drops here. And yes, if I'm looking at, of course, the liquidation heat map, we are clearly seeing there is only liquidity being built up above us. And the liquidity above us is becoming bigger and bigger. Always actually Bitcoin grabs the liquidity. And since it is right now building up above us, I am not more than surprised that eventually we are going to grab this topside liquidity, which is, by the way, laying around $120,000, which is by far a very significant pump towards the upside from off this level. Because if Bitcoin is going to pump to $120,000 to grab that liquidity, it's another 4% pump towards the upside, which means another $200,000 in profit for our Bitcoin trade here. So this is the target I am currently aiming for. I think it's a very realistic level where Bitcoin is going to be heading towards. On multiple charts, it is clearly showing us that not only Bitcoin, but also Ethereum is building up a big level of liquidity above us right now here. And for Ethereum, it's around that $3,900 level. And of course, I remain to be in my long position on Ethereum. So I will be definitely profiting from, of course, this big push towards the upside. But ultimately for Bitcoin, we're seeing this inverse head and shoulders play out there. A realistic price target, if we're going to be measuring it from the head here, if we talk about the breakout, is going to be $140,000. That, I think, maybe is a little bit too overexcited. However, I do think we're in the last 2 months of the cycle. And yes, my ultimate price target for Bitcoin is $137,000. So it's not far off from this target I have from this inverse head and shoulders pattern. So Bitcoin remains to be holding the upper sloping support line. That is, of course, extremely critical in my opinion. But of course, ultimately, I think that if we hit $137,000, I will be more aggressively scale out of my positions and potentially even look at very big short positions in the market, because I do think this cycle is going to be similar towards 2017, where we are going to be creating somewhat of a blow off top for Bitcoin. So let's see how it goes here. But of course, technically speaking, we still have about 2 months left in this Bitcoin cycle, if history is any indication, and more importantly, if timing is any indication. So maybe it's going to be different, but at least this is how every single cycle on Bitcoin yet so far has played out. So I will be keeping this as my main scenario. Then, of course, on Ethereum, we are seeing the ETH compared to Bitcoin pair. I've talked about this level so many times here. It is touching this level, and of course, whenever it's going to be clearing this level, I believe Ethereum is going to be having a massive run against Bitcoin towards the upside right here, which would mean like a 12 to 14% move towards the upside, which is by far a very insane run against Bitcoin. And of course, that is why I remain to be holding up on towards my position on Ethereum, because yeah, it clearly looks like we are about to be breaking this level, because the more times we're touching this resistance, the more likely it is that we're exactly going to be breaking that level of resistance. So very, very excited for Ethereum. Ultimately, I think we're going to be going towards the top side of the region, which is about 4,000 US dollars. Then I think, of course, we have to reevaluate. We have to see what is going to be happening next here. But ultimately, on the monthly time frame as well, we've broken the downward sloping big resistance line, and it just flipped into support. So this is very great news here. The market is reacting very, very strong here. And of course, on the Bitcoin dominance chart, we are just only at the beginning of this major bounce towards the downside. And of course, the bounce for the entire altcoin market cap. So most of the charts on Ethereum are just showcasing us a major bear trap. The flows on the ETFs are also once again returning. And if you're just looking at all the previous major pumps on altcoin season, it has always been very, very short-lived. And always after the big pump comes like a 60% to 70% dump here. So you should also be prepared that, of course, good times are going to come, but it can shift around very, very quickly. So I want you to understand that scenario as well here. And of course, if we are looking at the seasonality, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, we are still very, very early, because altcoins tend to top out later than Bitcoin does here. So very exciting things here. Of course, we are going to be all discussing it ongoing in this market. I will be continuing to do so. But guys, this was it for me in today's update video. If there's going to be anything very important, I will of course drop an emergency video. But anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. Stop with the like button, and see you guys on the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.